The morning of the execution dawned, grey and wet. All those commanded to die were brought up from the dungeons of the Red Keep in chains to the outer ward. There they were forced to their knees, while Prince Aegon and his court looked on. A certain Eustace led the doomed men in prayer, beseeching the Mother to have mercy on their souls. Rain began to fall. It rained so hard, and Eustace droned on so long, that we began to fear the prisoners might drown before their heads could be cut off, says Mushroom. At last, the prayer concluded, and Lord Cregan Stark unsheathed Ice, the Valyrian steel greatsword that was the pride of House Stark. For the savage custom of the North decree the man who passes the sentence must also wield the sword, that their blood might be upon his hands alone. Be he a high lord or a common headsman, seldom had any man faced so many executions as Cregan Stark did that morning in the rain. Yet it came undone in thrice. The condemned had drawn lots to see he would be first to die, and the choice had fallen on Sir Perkin the Flea. When Lord Cregan asked the cunning rogue if he had any final words, Sir Perkin declared that he wished to take the black. A southern lord might or might not have honoured this request, but the Starks of the North, where the needs of the Night's Watch are still held in such high regard, and when Lord Cregan bade his men haul the Flea onto his feet, the other prisoners saw the road to deliverance and echoed his request. All of them began to shout at once. Mushroom says like a chorus of drunks, bellowing out the words of a song they half remember. Gutter knights and men-at-arms, litter bearers, serving men, heralds, the keeper of the wine cellars, 3 white swords of the King's Guard. Every man of them suddenly found a deep desire to defend the wall. Even Grand Maester Orwell joined in the desperate chorus. He too was spared, for the Night's Watch needs men of quill as well as men of sword. Only 2 men did die that day. One was Sir Giles Belgrave of the King's Guard. Unlike his 3 sworn brothers, Sir Giles refused the chance to exchange his white cloak for black. "You are not wrong, Lord Stark," he said when his turn came. "A knight of the King's Guard should not outlive his king." Lord Cregan took his head off with a single swift swing of ice. The next and last to die was Lord Larys Strong, the clubfoot. When he asked if he wished to take the black, he said, "No, my lord, I'll be going to a warmer hell, if it please you, but I do have one last request. When I am dead, hack off my clubfoot with that greatsword of yours. I've dragged it with me all my life. Let me be free of it in death at least." This boon Lord Stark granted him. Thus perished the last man of House Strong. A proud and ancient house came to its end. Lord Larys's remains were given over to the Silent Sisters. Years later, his bones would find their final resting place at Harrenhal, save for his clubfoot. Lord Stark decreed that it should be buried separately in a pauper's field, but before that could be done, it disappeared. Mushroom tells us it was stolen and sold to some sorcerer, who used it in the casting of one of his spells. The self-same tale is told of the foot torn off from Prince Joffrey's leg in Fleabottom, which makes the veracity of both suspect, unless we are meant to believe that all feet are possessed of malign powers. The heads of Lord Larys Strong and Sir Giles Belgrave were mounted on either side of the Red Keep's gates. The other condemned were returned to their cells to languish until arrangements could be made to send them to the wall. Final line in the history of the woeful reign of King Aegon II Targaryen had been written. Cregan Stark's brief service as Hand of the King of the uncrowned King Aegon III ended the next day when he returned the chain of his office to Prince Aegon. He might easily have remained King's Hand for years, or even have claimed the regency until young Aegon came of age. But the South held no interest for him. "The snows are falling in the north," he announced, "and my place is at Winterfell."